mention anything, or?
Nope.
Ziggy, I'm trying to understand what happened today.
Who cares? It's over.
Not for Tommy. He's still freaked out and acting weird, and it's just a big joke to everyone. Mary was possessed by the witch.
Maybe it was the witch. Ziggy.
What, that doesn't fit your carefully constructed bullshit view of the world?
Why are you being like this?
Oh, I don't know, maybe because Nurse Lane was the only person who was nice to me, and now her life is over because bad things always happen to Shady-siders.
Nothing just happens. There's always a reason.
Not always a rational one. Deep down you feel it, don't you? Shady-side, there's something here that's just holding us down, cursing us.
Ziggy, that's enough.
Maybe you're too scared to admit it.
Hi, Sadie. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. And thank you so much for doing this interview with me. First of all, as a huge horror fan, I really enjoyed this trilogy, and I'm sure people will find it very entertaining. Are you a horror movie fan as well? And if yes, what are your favorite movies?
I don't really watch a lot of horror movies, to be honest, but they're really, really fun to be a part of, and I'm really drawn to horror scripts for some reason. But yeah, really haven't seen a lot of horror movies. But nothing against them or anything. I just I just haven't watched them.
Okay, how was it working with Leigh Janiak then?
Yeah, Leigh is one of the coolest people that I know, I think. And she's such a hard worker. I mean, just like directing all 3 films back to back over the course of one summer is just a really, really ambitious task to take on. And she, handled it with such grace, and the outcome was incredible. So I'm very proud of her and really honored that I get to work with someone like her.
Okay, you don't like horror movies, but we keep seeing you in horror movies and TV shows. But I also remember you doing great dramas as well. Which type of acting do you feel you are most suited for? Are you planning to become a scream queen, or do you have other plans for your future?
I mean, I think I really enjoy doing horror and kind of sci-fi shows. They're very fun, but yeah, I also kind of like doing a little bit more laid back stuff and more of the dramas. And I think that's kind of what I'll probably take a little break from horror, maybe. I mean, they're so fun, and I really love the actiony stunt work that we get to do. But yeah, I think I need to rest for a little bit especially after Fear Street.
Okay, how about horror literature? Do you read Goosebumps or Fear Street books?
I didn't grow up with those books. So this was kind of my first introduction to R.L. Stine, really. I think my little sister had watched Goosebumps or read a few Goosebumps books, but yeah, it wasn't really something that me or my older siblings grew up with.
Did you like my t-shirt?
Oh, I love your t-shirt. Yeah, I clocked it as soon as I saw it, of course.
Thank you so much. You don't like horror movies? I don't know what else I can ask you, because I thought you were a horror fan, because
I mean, I like horror movies. I just don't. I'm just not
you just like being in horror movies, right?
Yeah, it's better to be in it. Yeah.
Okay, there were so many different killers in this one. Which one is the scariest?
I would say probably, I mean, Nightwing's pretty scary. That's pretty gruesome. I think that'd be the worst way to go. So I'd have to say Nightwing.
Okay. Thank you so much for doing this. And thank you for your time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Guys, I think there's someone in the woods.
We're together for one night, and dead people are trying to kill us. Maybe we are doomed.
She was so sexy, but so crazy.
Normal bitches don't bleed black blood.
How do we not die? I'm looking at you, witch nerd.
You can't stop it.
First of all, I'm a huge horror fan. I really enjoyed this trilogy. Can you tell me about the research process? Because there are a lot of references to the movies from the era I love.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing I had working in my favor was that I am also just a horror fan and a movie fan. So I didn't have to do a lot of extra research. It was more just like, oh, remember that amazing moment in this and this and this and this and this. One of my favorite horror movies of all time is Scream, which I think is really clear if you watch the first movie. So that was really exciting to me, is to be able to kind of send a love letter to that movie and to that whole series, basically. So yeah.
There are also many interesting music choices. The budgets for this must be the real killer, right? Can we talk about this side of the project as well? Because I love the soundtrack.
There's a lot of songs in it. Music was such an important part of these movies. It was an important part of the movies before the scripts were even made. It was kind of part of my original pitch that I had with my producers, with the studio. I made playlists very early on that kind of like continued to grow and change throughout. And I was just very, very lucky that Netflix understood that how important they were to the DNA and to making audiences feel immediately back in those time periods, and kind of like understanding that the music was chosen to enhance a scene and not just to have a needle drop. And they totally got that and supported it. And I was very, very lucky, because that was a huge anxiety that I had when we were shooting, of like, oh no, are we going to be able to have this song? And they did it. So yeah.
Forgive me, but I have to ask, the knives don't work properly in this trilogy. So many people got stabbed without any serious consequences. Is that a reference to the old slasher movies as well?
Totally. This idea that like people are getting stabbed way more than they should. They're bleeding a lot more than they should. We certainly live in kind of a very charmed horror snow globe for those moments. And we tried to balance it with having a lot of blood still and kind of like pushing the envelope. But yeah, my mom will be the first one to tell me that they should have died.
What are your future projects? Is it going to be another horror movie, or are you planning something else?
I don't know yet. I have a lot of kind of other horror ideas that I'm interested in. I have a lot of other ideas that I'm also interested in that I've just been like thinking about in the back of my mind for so long. So I don't know exactly yet what the next thing will be, but I'm excited about kind of the opportunity, and also what more can be in Fear Street. So yeah.
A huge fan since honeymoon. Thank you for doing this interview with me.
Yeah.
And have a great day.
Thank you so much. Good to meet you.